There is a demographic crisis that is taking place that even governments have admitted to. This is evident in Europe at this time, but it's even more prevalent, specifically in Germany. You can clearly see how over the decades things have changed and that this is a major disaster that must show its true self. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at Germany's demographic crisis. Let's begin. Share of Germans younger than 30 and older than 60 years old. I'll show you first the older than 60 years. You will see as the years go on, this continues to escalate. This chart goes back from 1950 on to present day and beyond. Younger than 30 years is continuously declining within that same time frame. This spells disaster for the future. There are many Ponzi schemes that governments, corporations, and all different types of institutions have set up. And new investors need to pay into the pool to pay off the people who are reaping the rewards today. That's the way it works. Whether it's a social security, whether it's a pension, doesn't matter. Ultimately, this is very important to the integrity of the system. And when you have a population crisis like this, you have a very big problem ahead of you. Now, as I said, it's not just in Germany. Let's take a look at Europe. When you look around Europe, you will see as the years move on, you're going to see this chart developing here. The colors are changing. On the left-hand side, there is a legend. I'll leave it on here for just a moment. And you will see that these countries, as time moves on, are getting older and older and older. And you'll see, of course, that some are worse than others. That's very clear. But when you look at Germany, when you look at Italy and Switzerland and a few other places, you definitely get the sense that these countries have the same demographic crisis, and it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. So, that's Europe. We can see the median age becoming a very big problem for that particular country. But if we go to the Americas, you will see these countries, in some cases, have the same issue. Now, looking at Canada, for example, you see that there is a very big problem. The US, similar. Mexico tends to catch up in later years. Even Brazil in later years. You do see a lot of youth coming out of Central America and into the northern part of South America here, even the southern part. But essentially what we have is, as time moves on, they're all getting older. There are very few places around the world that have a very young population. Now, to some degree, it's not necessarily good or bad. What I want to stress here is the fact that this is the money GPS, and I'm looking at things like the Social Security and all of the different Ponzi schemes that are there. This isn't a good thing if the population is getting older and older and older and they need to take more benefits and there's not enough people paying into that Ponzi to help out those who are asking for it today. So even if there is no financial crisis in the form that we are, let's say the stock market crash or anything else, we have a demographic crisis that's going to destroy nations. They will have to print their way out, and the only solution is going to be paying back in worthless confetti. That's what it will all be worth in the end. This is Germany's population here. I thought it was amazing to see this, actually, the way it had escalated. We're talking about well over 10 million people here in this period of time, peaking right around now, and they're expecting it to have a decline over the coming years. Of course, this is a long time ahead of us, but it just shows us What's going on with the population? You know, there are some, let's say, activities that are taking place today that may change that. We'll have to keep our eyes on that, of course. This is an interactive map, and I want to just definitely give a shout out to visualcapitalist.com, an excellent resource. I've talked about them before. Look for yourself here if you're interested, visualcapitalist.com, and you'll see, might be a little difficult to read the font, but essentially what we are seeing here is the age structure from 1950, and then I'll show you into the projected years, and you'll see that these are the years as they go on. I'll just move through here, maybe you get an idea of how this works. You can see as the years move on how things change. This is specifically in Germany, by the way, if I didn't mention that. And that's all. Once again, people have opinions, I understand that, and all I really wanted to stress with this was the fact that the financial aspects here. And what are governments going to do, realistically? You have a whole bunch of people. Let's say you had triple the amount of people that needed something like Social Security. What are you going to do as a government? Well, ultimately, there's always going to be one group of people who are going to offer free stuff. And those people are going to get the votes. Whoever offers the more free stuff, especially when we enter in a time when people realize they need to get these paychecks, we are looking at a very, very big decision these governments have to make. I know what's going to happen. Personally, they're going to pay people just enough to keep them going. Make sure that they stay obedient. And then, if they want to, they tighten their grip. And they can do that. They've been cutting. They've been cutting pensions. We've been seeing it. I've been covering it here. They've been reforming entitlements, as they say. Where it goes from here, I think we are guaranteed some sort of demographic crisis that cannot be avoided. It's just a matter of fact. When I look at it from any angle, you see that. Even Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book about this. It's just statistics. If things go the way they are, we have a big problem on our hands. The Federal Reserve can print money. The government can create some sort of stimulus package. But ultimately, if you don't want people to lose their minds, you're going to have to print. You're going to have to devalue the currency and make sure that eventually it will be worthless confetti. That's all for this video. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate the thumbs up. I do appreciate the comments, the subscriptions on here. We are now closing in on 82,000 subscribers. Thank you all for joining me here. Share the videos. I'm also on Steemit. If anyone is on there as well, definitely join me on Steemit. Links are in the description where you can check that out there and join me there. If you're maybe haven't seen me on there before, definitely check me out. I'm on DTube and Steemit. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you'll find my books, The Money GPS, and my new release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can actually flip through these books. If you go over to Amazon, there are links in the description below to check them out. Take care. If you're still here, give me an extra thumbs up for that screenshot. Priceless.